The genesis of Defend East County is this. It launched in the late spring of 2020 after a band of mostly white men pledged to protect La Mesa businesses from Black Lives Matter protesters. Soon, the group known as DEC morphed into this. And then the group's founder, Justin Haskins, live-streamed from the January 6th insurrection. At one point that day, he called it our constitutional duty to overthrow a tyrannical government.
Yes, I was at the Capitol on January 6th. No, I did not take part in it. No, I do not agree with it. And I'd rather just move on from that.
But the 37-year-old construction manager still doesn't believe President Joe Biden was legitimately elected, and he believes false QAnon theories.
I mean, if you're asking me if I believe that there is a group of elitists in Washington, D.C. and in Hollywood that run a pedophile ring, absolutely, I believe that.
At least one DEC member has openly discussed violence against Black people. Federal prosecutors say San Diegan Gray Zamudio bragged in a text about pulling his Glock on a Black person he called the N-word and smashing on some BLM. Zamudio is serving a 2-year sentence in federal prison for firearms violations. Local Black activist Tasha Williamson says some DEC members have made racially tinged violent threats against her and her son.
They put this out on social media and people are calling for my lynching.
And then there is this undated video on Twitter of Haskins. Haskins claims the comments were taken out of context, but wouldn't elaborate. Despite all this, DEC has proven to be relevant in mainstream San Diego County politics. At one point in 2020, DEC boasted a Facebook following of more than 20,000 members. The platform eventually suspended the group due to violent racist rhetoric on its page. But by then, both Republican Darrell Issa and Democrat Amar Campa-Najjar had sought DEC's endorsement in the race for the 50th District congressional seat. Brian Levin is director of the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism at Cal State San Bernardino.
These social media platforms like Facebook have enabled people who would just be banging a kettle on a corner somewhere to use the power of symbols, memes, and videos to create fear on anecdotes and identify villains.
Haskins insists DEC's main purpose is simply to promote traditional conservative values.
We want to protect the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion. We want to protect the Second Amendment. We want to keep the government out of our homes with the Fourth Amendment.
And that DEC wants to get like-minded people elected.
So every local candidate that we supported won.
He says they include Santee Mayor John Minto, Santee Council members Dustin Trotter and Laura Koval, and Cajon Valley Union School District trustee Jim Miller. KPBS reached out to them and other GOP leaders such as Paula Witzel, chairwoman of the Republican Party of San Diego County. They either declined comment or didn't return calls. Mesa College political science professor Carl Luna believes their silence is an acknowledgement that DEC's radicalism has gone mainstream within the party. He calls the strategy dangerous.
You call out your crazies and you don't bring them into the coalition.
As local Republicans avoid addressing DEC, a more militant offshoot of the group has materialized. It's called the Exiled Patriots and led by another local resident, Mike Forzano, who did not respond to interview requests. Haskins says he condemns the Exiled Patriots because of their violent rhetoric.
And that is literally everything I have tried to avoid and make sure that we have never gone down that path.
Even so, Luna says January 6th shows DEC is a gateway group to that path. Amita Sharma, KPBS News.